That is the vibe that comes through for me when I listen to this track. We know Coffee knows how to vibe. And this would be where we'd start fading in instruments for the first single of the album. And as the song ends, the next song would here. Wow. Ooh. Oh, this is really neat. Yeah. To those people I say, it's the way it should be. Sleep. Sleep, my friends. You've earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BandLab Plus. Coffee. It's time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with another excellent track. And coincidentally, it's not a coincidence. This track is brought to you by Coffee, or at CoffeeMonsterr. The song title, Where I'll Remain, is indeed Where I'll Remain with Coffee. So without further ado, to the lab!
Let the music unlock your heart. It's time to collaborate. You're part of the family.
It's time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with another excellent BandLab track. Over here on the lab, we've got CoffeeMonsterr, who's at CoffeeMonsterr, reppin' 722 followers. Their song, Where I'll Remain, not only has lyrics, thank you, but it has 9 plays, we're going to rack that up, 5 likes, we're going to rack that up, and the description says previously, I'll wait here. So we changed it to Where I'll Remain. Had trouble with the lyrics, as I do at times. So I used lyrics I wrote for a forked song when I first got on here, probably meaning the lab. This marks the last of the tracks of my upcoming Amateur Noises album, The Rot. It's a pop electronic track. Let's take a listen and see what we got. A little creepy, but a little mysterious too. Looks like we might get an explosion at the end. I do really like the running. Ooh. Oh, this is really neat. I enjoy this soundscape. Wow, listen to that vocal layering. I really like that lower harmony. Yeah. Yeah. Really like this vocalizing. Ooh, nice, nice. The minimalism of the track lends itself very well to anything new that comes in and changes that balance. It's really neat. That swelling bass is almost like a wave from the ocean. And crashing on the beach with the percussion. Walking up and down the beach in the stars. No lights, no city lights, just stars. What you got for me, Coffee? Whoa, some subs. Really trying to punch you in the face. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Here is where I'll remain. This reminds me of a lot of Angels and Airwaves in a sense that we're really drawing out this song for our concept and we're letting the listener feel more than we're making them think. And sometimes that's the kind of vibe that draws them into an album. So I can see this as the beginning of an album. Good job cutting that percussion there. Good job. And this would be where we'd start fading in instruments for the first single of the album. And as this song ends, the next song would and it would explode and have the whole vibe. That would be the Angels and Airwaves way of doing things. And I think it's very, very clear that this is that Coffee knows how to vibe, and we know Coffee knows how to vibe. So CoffeeMonster's doing it right. A lot of things to really like about this track. Totally different than a lot of the electronic music we listen to on this show, where as someone who wholeheartedly believes that Owl City should be its own genre of music, and I love uplifting and triumphant and victorious, or wink wink glorious. Did I just wink wink but never wink? Or wink wink glorious? If you know, you know. This is a totally different kind of vibe, but it's just as important. Sitting here so early in the morning drinking my coffee, we have a brand new puppy in the house. Sleep is elusive. Finding time to even film an episode where a bloodhound isn't barking in the morning. Crazy times. But this wind-up vibe right here, this is not coffee like it shows you in the movies. This is ready. Let's go. That's the kind of vibe I get from this song. It's a deep breath and an exhale into your day, as opposed to an explosion that leads to a fallout, that leads to a breakdown, that leads to an afternoon nap. This is the sustainable. Yes. What a cool track. Let's head on over to two things I love and one thing I want more of. The first thing I love about this track is the track itself, and much more specifically, the percussion is giving you that. If you can think about the 80s, you get those do 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 do, someone running the race. Well, in this case, you take that same idea with the percussion, that and it sounds like gated reverb, and you apply it only in this situation of steadfastness rather than triumphantly winning the race. You are triumphantly steadfast in the face of adversity or in the face of really anything. To be steadfast in the storm. Really cool, really ambient space with these drums. And we get that rhythm throughout the track, which, keep that in mind. That's going to come up later. But this is truly one of the things I love, because with that portion of the track, these vocals, Here Where I'll Remain, where things will stay the same. You think that I might change. Well, I've got a revelation headed your way. Here. I'm here. I'm not going to change. I'm here. And the percussion keeps driving us forward. We are steadfast. We are in the storm. And we're not changing, even though everything around us is changing. Not us. And there's something to be said. Everyone promotes change, 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 change. Change for the sake of change is whatever. It's not always great and not always well thought out. But the ability to be steadfast in the world that is in constant pursuit of change, that's a skill. To hold to something that is more important than change for novelty's sake. To remain a pillar around a storm of change. That is a cool idea and a great concept that is lost on us most days with the ever-changing social media landscape, or the next dopamine rush, or even virality of our content. And hey, I fall victim to that rat race all the time. I mean, I'm here to promote BandLab artists who don't get the same kind of promotion as everyone else. But at the end of the day, without people watching the content and clicking the content and following through on that content, there's no channel to put the content on. So there is this fine line, this balance between changing what doesn't work and being steadfast in the reason you started in the first place. So this is a really neat, Where I'll Remain is a really neat idea, and whether that's what CoffeeMonsterr was going for or not, that is the vibe that comes through for me when I listen to this track. Being steadfast, being a pillar in the storm of constant, consistent, and not often well thought out change. That rhythm really drives us there. So that is the first thing I love. The second thing I love is when we come through this track and you get these vocals. I love the vocalizing, which I believe we can start all the way at the beginning to hear some of, as they fade in. So it sounds like we've got a short-tailed reverb on here mixed with I can't tell if it's an eighth note or a quarter note delay, but the delay is really wet, so the feedback is high, which means we're getting it's bouncing, which is really great because it creates this atmospheric soundscape that really rides this rhythm well. And the reason why the vocalizing specifically is the part I like is because it creates an arrangement within the track that you would not otherwise have. Where lyrics are few, vibe must be full. And that's okay. I mean, few lyrics is great. In fact, I tend to write too many lyrics when I am writing because I want to say things. I have stuff to say. I have something to say. But where lyrics are few, vibe must be full. And the goal is, of course, the best of both worlds. Lyrics that tell a story and a vibe that's full. But here we have just this great vibe with this vocalizing that gives you almost a pre-verse or a pre-chorus feel. It gives you a part A, and then you move into the next part of the lyrics, a part B, which is distinctly different from the higher up notes of the vocalizing. So you've got "Here where I'll remain," which is distinctly low. And then you've got the vocalizing, which is and so you have these two very distinct. You have these two very distinct parts. High, low, wherever you go. That's how you know it's a hit. I made that up. Sorry. But the vocalizing specifically with the high notes really gives us a contrast and a dynamic shift when we go to the low notes of "I'm here where I remain." And then when we come back to the vocalizing later in the track, it takes us back up. So we have different parts of a song where the rhythm and the percussion are a heartbeat that drive through the entire track, and we're not getting a lot of change in any drums, and we're not getting a ton of change in any bass. It's the swell. It's a soundscape, right? So we need a lot of change in the vocals, something to give us a new sound, a dynamic sound, for something to shift. And this vocalizing is what does that for us. So we get the highs, we get the lows, and wherever you go, you always know. That's right, it's a hit. So that is the second thing I love. So many great harmonies too. If there's one thing I want more of in this track, it is a melody line on the instrumental. There is a percussion through line, there's a bass through line, and then we add a ton of sub frequencies over here to kind of thicken it up for the climax of the song, which is great and a really awesome way to do this. But if there's one thing I want more of as someone who is an avid Owl City genre person, there's always a melody being played by the instruments. So in this case, as I mentioned at the end of the track, this reminds me of an Angels and Airwaves intro track. Theirs are also 5 minutes long. Oh, you thought I was going to say a shorter version. Theirs are also 5 minutes long, but the main instrument in an Angels and Airwaves song is guitar, right? They're from a time when guitars were king. And so we have this shift in music where synths were king for a long time and still are, but guitar's trying to make a comeback. I think that a guitar, a really verbed out 80s style guitar, would be really cool to have in here playing some kind of counter melody or counterbalancing the vocalizing in the lyrics, maybe even doubling them in some parts. If we start with the in the beginning, and then the second time we bring it in, we have like a guitar play with it. And we could even have the guitar play, well, that might be too fast, but we could even have the guitar play eighth notes and kind of double it up, make it more rhythmic while the vocalizing remains the same. That would give us some really great variation as well. So with all that being said, I love the track and the soundscape that it provides, as well as the way that we used the vocals to create dynamic shifts within the arrangement and the music to create a rhythmic soundscape for those vocals to fill out. And then, of course, when we get all the subs at the end, that's fun. It's subby. That submarine won't implode. Too soon? My bad. That joke was the Titanic. Oh, dang. Can't stop. Won't stop. But yeah, guitar. I think this is a great track, and I think everyone should head on over to BandLab and follow CoffeeMonsterr at CoffeeMonsterr with 2 R's at the end, because coffee. And while you're over there, you should also follow DJTatious on YouTube, BandLab, and wherever you choose to consume your social media. I would very much appreciate it. Keeps the lights on. And you know what? Today, I've got a little bit of an extra ask for you. Not only do I say thank you for waking up, winding up, and queuing up and drinking your coffee with me, I would say check the link in the description of this video, because Glass Garden and I are putting Streetlight Lullaby out on all streaming platforms on October 6th. But the Spotify pre-save link is going to be in the description of this video. Do me a favor, head to the link in the description and click that pre-save for your Spotify. You may be required to log in. No big deal. You guys know how to do that. Log into Spotify, pre-save Streetlight Lullaby featuring the acclaimed BandLab and Spotify artist Timmy Newboy. Check out, while you're over there, some tracks that have already been released, such as Summer Changes Everything from DJTatious and Glass Garden, Chasing the Sun from DJTatious and Gramo, and of course, all of Timmy Newboy's catalog is excellent. So thank you again for waking up, winding up, and queuing up another excellent BandLab track with me, and we will see you next time.